Hello and welcome to your Geek. Oh, do you have lyrics now, Rob?
I think it should be our theme.
Okay, wait. Like, do it again. Try it again. Right.
I'm Rob Callahan. Here is Shannon and Jayden and Nika Hotep and Pat's with us. You guys got to jump in. I can't keep doing this on my own.
We are not freestyle
a baby
artists.
pterodactyl over here.
I love the way that worked out.
It's Pitch Perfect 3.
Just a delicious train wreck. That is a good description of your geek show. So I'm Ms. Shannon here with Rob Callahan. Jayden Satia joins us again this morning, and it's all hands on deck because it is also Pride Weekend here in the Twin Cities. Nika Hotep, if you don't hit, I was going to mention you right now. Nika Hotep is also here, our social media demon. I brought him along because he has a lot to weigh in regarding the conversation that we have later today. And that does involve our guest geek of the week. Pat Suchmilch is here. So Pat Suchmilch. It's the wine. It's not you. It's your name is not that hard. It's me.
How much wine have you had?
Are we supposed to count? I didn't know we were supposed to count.
How much is there?
She hasn't stopped still last night. She started last night. She's still going.
Yeah, I had shows last night, so yeah, that happens. But yeah, so Pat, you've seen him on Last Comic Standing. He's one of the best comedians here in the Twin Cities. He is fantastic. Yeah, and he has what we like to. We're very proud of Pat because he has the best cat joke in the Midwest.
Yep, according to City Pages.
Yes, that is fantastic. And he also is a very big video game aficionado, which is why we brought him in today, because not only is he going to talk to us about video games, he's also is going to help us with our conversation on LGBT characters and history in video games, which is what we'll be focusing on later today in the show. So thanks, Pat.
Oh, thanks for having me. I don't have a cat.
Oh, okay.
I'm allergic to cats.
I said he had a cat joke.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you write what you know, right? So I just figured you had a cat, or at least a cat experience.
I feel like
I mean,
he
I've had
understands
cat
cat
experiences.
mentality.
If you've had access to the internet, you know about cats.
Yeah, I've seen cats. I've seen them.
If you follow my Facebook feed, you know a lot about cat videos. They're hilarious and adorable. I enjoy them.
They're pretty great.
A lot, yes.
Isn't
see
the
the
Walker one happening at the CHS field?
Yes,
St. Paul Saint Stadium?
Yeah, so that is coming up soon, and I am going to be attending, and so you guys are welcome to come along, because I will be sitting there jollily watching all of the internet cat videos. So,
when is that?
Next month. We'll have to,
Like
can
when?
we focus on, I don't remember. I'll find out for you, though.
Well, I'm in Chicago for 9 days next month. But if I'm in town, I'm going.
What are you doing in Chicago?
There's that comedy exposition, that comedy festival. It's the second year.
Very nice. So do you do a lot of festivals as a comedian?
No.
Okay. Is this the first one you've done?
It's not the first one, but it's the most recent one.
Okay. Very well. I hope that is a fantastic experience for
The
you.
competition base or exhibition, just straight up, they invite funny people and
I
like
don't
an
know.
invite thing,
you,
like you
submit
apply
a
in,
video,
Okay.
and then they picked like 25 people, and I was one of them.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is super awesome.
Yeah, one of the shows is called Arguments and Grievances, and I'm going to give basically a 5-minute debate on. It's like donuts versus bagels. I'm on Team Donut.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how to debate.
Were you
this.
assigned that team, or did you pick that team?
We had a list to choose from, and I was like, yeah, donuts v. bagels. I got that.
All right.
So
What were some of the things you didn't pick?
Oh, God, there's a huge list. I don't know. A lot of them I didn't understand, so I was like, yeah, I know donuts and bagels pretty well. They're similar, on the surface. They're similar in a lot of ways. But
Right.
So you bite in, and one of them is onion, and the other is
Yeah.
cherry filling.
Yeah, I figured I have a lot of strong opinions on donuts. So I'll pick
Well,
it.
at least this is a subject matter that you're like, I feel strongly about it, and I'm very familiar with the donuts and the bagels versus the really good cat joke that you have, and you're allergic to cats. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
What is the cat joke that won the...
No, now
City
I'm
Pages?
interested.
Well, you're just gonna have to come to a show.
Oh.
Gonna make us wait.
I like the
He's
way, I like
over
the
the
suspense.
He's
like
baiting us. He's baiting us.
It's
I
like
like
a
it.
3-minute long joke.
Right. And as the other comedian in the room, I was like, he is not going to want to tell that joke right now. This
Yeah.
is not the setting that you want to tell that joke.
Fine, tell us a dog joke.
Yeah.
I don't have any dog jokes.
But is that one of the ones that's on, is that one available on a YouTube site or something? Can we put the post up? Is that one out there on Rooftop or something?
I think there's a crappy version on Rooftop.
All right, well then here I think is the better thing, is that we will focus on what we can talk about today. So before we get to talking about our video games today, Jayden just got back from, speaking of festivals, you were at 2 movie festivals over the last couple weeks, is that correct?
Yeah, it was my longest trip out of the state for the year. I was in L.A. for the L.A. Film Festival, and then I went directly, took a red eye to Boston, then hopped on a ferry to go to Provincetown. Nico Hotep is giving me the eye.
What? You said ferry.
I did say ferry.
I'm like, I'll ride a ferry to
He
Provincetown.
surfed up like
I mean, come on. Hey.
Different.
So I was at the Provincetown Film Festival as well. Basically 2 weeks of watching independent films, some amazing, some good, some I walked out of.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
But that's okay. I think that's what me as a curator, and I'm trying to bring these films to our festival here in October. It's my job to walk out of one and go to another one.
Now, is
'Cause
that a
there's-
matter of just being the economy of your time? So you're going, I don't have time to watch this whole movie if I know I'm not going to use it. Or is it, this movie sucks, I'm out of here?
Or I've seen enough of this, I know I want to use it.
Okay.
It's actually all three, right? So I've actually definitely walked out of films that I know I will invite to our festival, knowing the cast, knowing how great the production value is, knowing that it already has an arc, and I kind of see where it's going, and it may have a twist. I know that I want to at least view it and give it to our artistic director. So I'll walk out of it knowing that I will invite this, but then I'll go to another film that is happening, a block away, kind of sneak in there and see if that's worth it as well. But on the other hand, I walk out of films in the first 10 minutes because they're crap, honestly. They're just, the production value isn't there. And, when the audio doesn't match the video, it's just kind of like, all right, who programs this stuff? And none of this happened in LA or Provincetown because they're very well curated. But I've been to other festivals where I've walked out of films as well. So when I'm looking for a specific film for our festival, it needs to have high production value. It also needs to have a story. Right, it's simple. It needs to be unique in some way, where a story is told a little differently than you normally would have seen. I also look for great actors who choose independent film as a way to express their artistic abilities as well. So there was a film called Grandma with Lily Tomlin.
I'm sorry, what was it called again?
Grandma. With Lily Tomlin. So she's a great actress in it. Saw I Am Michael with James Franco and God, I'm completely forgetting his name. Who's the guy? Who's the Star Trek?
There's a lot of those. You need to narrow that.
Chris
down.
Pine?
That's not
No.
helping. We're just going to keep throwing out
Chris
names.
Pine?
That's not Star
keep going.
Trek.
No. Keep going.
Sorry.
Chris Pine.
Dennis,
Okay,
just because you don't like
Here's
the
the
new
thing
films,
now.
it still counts.
Quinto?
Nope. Actually, yeah.
Oh, Zachary
Zachary
Quinto.
Quinto. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. I'm like having
Well,
a brain
you know,
fart right
Not
now.
Star
Two
Trek.
snaps up for Nika
Two snaps
Hotep.
up. So that's actually based on a real life incident where the gentleman, he was back in the 80s, 90s, wrote for XY magazine in San Francisco, huge gay proponent. He was gay, love. He preached love. Like, look, everybody should just love. And through a transition of him finding about his mom had passed away, so he was still grappling with that. He started getting into the Bible, started reading it very in depth, and it still was preaching love, like Bible preaches love and all that fun stuff. He started to kind of sway the other way. So now, this is based on a real person. He is a minister living in Oklahoma with a wife, and he said, "I was in a gay state of mind back then, and I'm no longer
In a gay transitional
no,
period is what
absolutely.
it says in
so
in
it's
the
a
story.
very interesting story about how did that transition happen. So I'm not sure who the film is made for. What audience?
Like
is
when
it
you
for
just
the
when you said that,
LGBT?
Pat and Nika Hotep both perked up like a gay transitional.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
He
think
got
So
just swept up in like a gay vortex.
No, basically that's what he's saying. Like, look, this was a phase in my life, and I'm no longer. And he had a boyfriend back then, and he still calls his boyfriend every once in a while who lives in Canada. It's very interesting. I'm like, oh, who is this story for? Who's the audience? Is the audience the LGBT crowd, or is the audience the right wing, who completely like are opposite? Like,
The pray way.
right at the end of it, you're like the right one was like, yeah, you can turn straight. Does that make sense? And so I was very confused as to who the audience would be. It's an intriguing topic based on a true story. I would invite it to the festival just so we can have a conversation around it.
Because when you pick films, sometimes do you get to invite the directors or the writers or the people that created the film to come there and do a question and answer so you can actually explore those topics? Is that something that you'd look into now?
Yes, that is 100%. We reach out to every single filmmaker whose film that we're showcasing, and we definitely invite them to the festival. I would say we have about 70% retention rate on that. So either a filmmaker or the DP or the sound guy or the lead actors or somebody who's the film is based off of, they actually show up as well and do a Q&A, because I think that is that's the difference between going to a film festival film and just going to a regular movie at a cinema, because you get to talk with these individuals and kind of figure out what the process was and why they decided to make the film that they did and what's in store for the film and what's in store for them in the future as well.
So what's the next step after you see a film at one of these other festivals? How do you get them involved in yours?
So we reach out to the filmmakers directly. So I definitely talked to 2 or 3 filmmakers right away after I sat through the Q&A. Definitely knew I wanted to invite them for the festival. For example, one of the film, and again, you never know until you talk to them. One of the films was Beatbox, which was just a narrative film about the industry of beatboxing, how it's so highly trained. Like these individuals, these musicians who do beatboxing competitions in New York and LA, they're so well trained in their craft. They're artists in themselves. So it's a story about this kid who wants to be a musician. He wants to be a DJ, so he keeps submitting his records to music labels, and this shady guy who he's been trying to submit it to actually says, hey, instead of that, come do this, and he takes him into this beatboxing party, and he kind of falls in love with the concept behind it, so he starts to become a beatboxer.
See, I want to see this film because I feel like everything you've said just now was made up. I'm like, is that a profession?
Yeah.
Is there a beatboxing
Well, they don't make
career?
a lot of money on it, but absolutely there's competitions which are sponsored, then the winners get prizes.
Is
and
it that
cash
you
prizes
could
and stuff
be
like
in
that.
an a cappella group and be that guy in the a cappella group and you didn't make it, so you have to become a beatboxer on your own now?
It's more like your parents got you your first deck of magic cards for your birthday, and then you're going out to tournaments and winning thousands of dollars playing magic.
There
It's
we
like
go.
that.
All right.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. So I talked with a filmmaker afterwards, a producer, and I like the film movie. I wanted to invite it, and it will be released, I want to say, in September, and then it'll be on Showtime late September because Showtime picked it up. Which again, great for the film, sucks for me because
Yeah.
the festival is in October, so I can't show that movie anyways. But great watch when I ended up watching it. So
Well, I'm glad that you had a great trip and it was successful. for
here's
you.
another
That's
one.
fine.
Do I sound gay?
You?
That's the name of the
Oh,
movie.
the name of the movie.
Oh.
I
thought you were
I've known you. I was like, I've known you a
Jesus.
number of years. I think I would have said something by now.
Well, actually,
Like,
well, that's the point,
Nick
right?
Hotep would
I
have been
perk
like,
up
oh,
every
right,
time
right.
you talk, okay?
Right.
I'm just saying.
But that's the point. The movie is that it's done by I guess a gay. He's an actor, I guess, but he wanted to find out like why he sounded gay, like that intonations, the cadence, the everything's like, when did I start talking gay, quote
Yes.
unquote? And he started researching and talked to his mom. His mom was like, well, I don't know, you just made a shift one day, and it was literally like we saw a change in your voice and the way you delivered it, and so he goes on this path to. He talks to a linguist and he's hires a vocal coach to change him back into not gay. But at the end of the story is like doesn't really matter. It's all about confidence, and if you can exude confidence in whatever voice you have, that's the way it should be. So that's the end of the silver lining. But it was really interesting. A lot of people he talked to, a lot of gay friends, a lot of just people on the streets, and he asked them, "Do I sound gay?" And some would say yes, some would say no. Most of his friends were like, well, you're you. I don't know any difference. That's how I know you, and that's how you sound. Some people are ashamed of it in the movie that they do sound gay. Some people are like, no, this is me. It's very interesting. But I'm going to see if I can invite that film to our festival.
Because that
too.
does sound interesting. I think that's a fascinating time. Like the first time I met Nick Hotep, I was like, I couldn't tell.
That's
Like,
right.
I
You
was
sound like
what
a
kind of-
demon? Is that what it was?
Exactly.
No, I was
He
like, hey.
He was cloaked at the moment, kind of thing. And then I got to know him. I was like,
cool.
it's no.
Well,
it's
so were
Nick
you. You were
Hotep.
dressed like a dirty schoolgirl.
Well, that is true. I don't fit those clothes anymore, so I got rid of them. I donated them, so there's some.
Oh, dang it.
Donated your dirty,
dirty schoolgirl outfit.
outfit to Goodwill.
And it actually.
You're going to need a receipt for those?
He calls it. I put it on my taxes.
We
I
got
did.
another year of dirty school coming up. If only we had a uniform.
He called it dirty school girl. I call it my Harajuku girl phase. Is what I went through.
It was hot.
Yeah. That's how we met, and now we've been friends ever since. So we actually met on a Pride weekend a number of years ago.
Wow,
So
our anniversary.
yeah, so it's very nice that Pride Weekend is coming up here, and especially with all of the fantastic marriage equality thing, our topic is very well timed. Our guest geek today, Pat Selchmills, I know plays a lot of video games, and they're not always LGBT related, but he does play a lot of games. So, what's your favorite game anyway, Pat?
Favorite game of all time right now, for a long time was Half-Life 2, but now I would say it's probably The Last of Us.
Okay.
Or I also really loved Gone Home, honestly. It was a game that really spoke to me.
And Gone Home was one that I wasn't as familiar with. I did play Last of Us. I thought that was one of those games that even if I didn't, it's really like all of the storyline. I mean, that it was very well, like this Jaden, very well acted. Like the actors that played the characters in that one were really cool. I really liked them.
Yeah, if you ever watch like a making of, they actually like build like sets and like actually film the actors and then just use like the motion capture and stuff. So
Well,
it's
I've gone
actually-
into Activision here, and they've taken me down to their basement where they have like rooms and rooms.
When normally
and
that
rooms.
sounds super
Yeah.
creepy.
I know,
I
right?
want to go. I want to go.
Yeah.
I know,
I wanna
but
go
it was
to
the
this
coolest thing
basement.
ever because they had rooms of just like where you would see in a normal film. Where the screenwriters, the script writers are sitting in one room, the editors are sitting in one room. There's storyboarding There's more to
totally.
games now, which
Totally.
is more like a movie, more like
Yeah.
actors, more like VO, more like just everything except the actual gaming piece of it. But then that just amplifies.
Speaking of the video games being more like movies now, I have a suggestion for anybody that's listening right now that isn't a big video game person, but really likes stories. So many of these video games are so story driven now. What you can do is you can go on YouTube and you can just Google the walkthroughs or the movie versions of it. And so a lot of gamers, what they'll do is that they will play these different video games and then they will produce a movie version of it. So it's all of the cutscenes and then the important parts of the playing of the video game. So you could actually, if you just wanted to know what the story of Half-Life 2 was, or really wanted to just see what happened during The Last of Us, you can watch, there's versions of it. And here's why I know. Okay, because I really, because they're like, why do you know this? Here's why I know. I really wanted to play Witcher 3. Witcher 3 just came out. I didn't play Witcher 1 or 2,
Boo.
but I wanted to know. I wanted to know these backstory.
Boo. They kill a griffin. You don't kill griffins.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, you don't.
This
Griffins are
deserves-
nice.
This griffin, they are not.
They are
this
totally.
Griffin deserves to
Griffins
die.
are totally nice.
Are they?
Yes.
I've never met one.
He's
Merv was a
old. He knows
charmer.
a bunch of them.
I knew a bunch of them.
You knew, yeah, because
they're all dead now.
they were mischievous. And
I was
then-
thinking about the festival too, actually having some sort of a trailer shorts block, and I would have games trailers.
they're
That would be-
fantastic. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
lot of what
So you
we
get
watched
an hour
online.
of just like shorts, just films that are basically games.
What they just did at E3, that's what you spent the whole
Right.
time online, was watching all of these video game trailers are getting sucked in to this
Yeah.
stuff that you're like, that looks awesome. And then, but you know that it's like, you're just gonna break my heart. That
Yeah.
game's gonna
It's
be
going to come out
booty.
3 years from now
Right.
and be completely different.
Right.
Star Wars. Oh, the Star Wars trailer. Oh.
I didn't
Oh, it
see
did
it.
look good. It did look good. We'll have to bring that back up.
Okay.
We'll send
All
them
right.
to you. You'll love those.
That's
You'll
the
love
new
those.
Battlefront? Or
No,
which Star Wars?
for Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, shit. They're bringing that. Can I swear? Are they bringing that back?
You can swear like that. You
Okay.
can stay away from the hard swears.
It's for like, the MMOR.
The MMOs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to not
Anyway,
speak in
sorry.
code for the non-gamers out there, kind of thing.
But
So
it's
we
called
need
Your Geek Show.
I know that, but yeah, we're geeks
They,
of a lot of
they
different
knew
varieties.
what's
kind of
coming.
thing.
The massively multiplayer online role playing.
There we go.
It's
Thank you
also
very much.
it's not 1987. Everyone knows these terms now.
They're mainstream.
I hope so.
Everyone who knows what a web browser is knows these terms.
Fair enough.
So most people,
Fair
some
enough.
people still think that's the internet.
Yeah.
Interweb.
The interwebs.
That's what I call it.
That thingy.
This is my opening into the series of tubes.
But I mean, I think that there was like some fantastic content that came out during E3, the gaming seminar that you can all watch online. I like that all this stuff is all streaming now, and you can be so involved in it because I was like, and I enjoy the people that they bring from the different gaming companies and gaming worlds coming through, like all the people from Nintendo, and I'm like, these are the most social of all of the people that work at Nintendo, and they still
And their
look-
heads are all down.
and they look really, and they still look really awkward. Where they're like, "Hey, everyone."
That's a PR team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is
We're all
fantastic.
virgins.
by choice.
Right. Go ahead, sacrifice us.
But I think that also is part of the reason why we do have more because of the MMOs and the role playing games that are so prevalent now. You do have more of these storyline driven games. So and you do have content that is based upon being able to create your own character, and so you do see more of that inclusion going on now. So it was a big deal to have different players of color, being able to have players that were male or female, and being able to do that now. And now we are seeing more of that. I want to be able to pick the whether they're gay or straight, and pick the sexuality of your characters. Which there were, if you look back, then you would hear about other characters that were supposed to be transgender, like if you're looking at old Nintendo games. And so the Japanese version of an old Nintendo game would be like, hey, this Super Mario Brothers character was technically transgender, but in the American version, we just never mentioned that. But
there was what was it, Birdo or whatever.
Birdo.
The one that like shot eggs. Like it was like a translation issue, so it was like it had like a female name, but like male pronouns or something.
Right. But I also think that because you didn't necessarily pay a lot of attention to the backstory on that, you wouldn't go, oh, yeah, that's a transgender bird. It just
That was just like a weird dino bird with a bow.
Super Mario Brothers 2, though, right?
Yeah.
Not canon.
Right. It's not canon. Because it was a different game that they just reskinned.
And it was
Yeah.
all
Also,
a
though,
dream in
right.
the end.
The technology back then was also hard to translate the story.
Right.
I mean, it was really, really hard to get the message of the story back then across.
It's a very nuanced game.
Exactly. Well, no, but you could. Oh, boo, boo.
didn't get Nick a hotel.
I'm gonna.
But it is true,
am
and
I
I think
cursed
that
now?
yeah, exactly. He tried.
Not,
That's all right.
Not yet.
The binding that I put on him is very. It's right now. It's holding, so you're pretty safe, Pat. You'll be okay.
Cool.
But I mean, you would see those things pop up, and then it would be something once you were older, like, oh wait, that character was supposed to be that. Like if you watch like the old Mortal Kombat games, it would be, oh well, that was the villain, and he jumped around a certain way, but there wasn't anywhere in the story that you necessarily would come back and said, oh, but that meant because he was gay. Like I wouldn't know that back then. It was just, well, that character, was dressed this particular way, but you didn't necessarily explain
liked the
any
color
of the back.
purple.
Right.
Oh, was
exactly.
that? They did that with Mortal Kombat? They were like trying to give them affectations?
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
Yes.
They also, though, back then didn't have the story modes because the story mode really didn't become popular until probably the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s and 80s, it was just basically fight. Whereas now in the mid 2000s, they have what's called a story mode where you can actually go and do things and actually try to take them through a side story.
Right.
And there's a lot of other pieces of the actual story, like with Soul Calibur, where you can kind of go and do things and find out more about the character's backstory.
So now it's important. And back then you were like, oh, well, I didn't get to play that part of it anyway. So you wouldn't
Or do you think it's
necessarily
also
notice.
the opposite now? People are looking for a story before they even make that purchase on the game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. And plus, I think it brings it in. And I mean, especially like with Blizzard. I mean, Blizzard is a billion-dollar company that they are just bringing things in across all sorts of different titles, as well like ArenaNet too. I mean, they're just bringing things in hand over fist.
And now I think that the business is also so competitive that they're trying to figure out other ways to get us emotionally attached to a product. So being able to have this emotional tie because you have some sort of affinity towards a character is important in these games. When before it's just like, oh, it's Donkey Kong, I want to throw barrels. Like now it's like, but really I want to feel what's in Donkey Kong's soul. Like I want to know what kind of
what's
person
Donkey
Donkey
Kong
Kong is.
about?
Why is he throwing the barrel?
Exactly, because that makes a difference.
Because he's
I need
named
to know
after the wrong animal.
I need to know. He's just mad. And some companies I think were at the forefront of things. Like BioWare was one of those ones that started off sooner, going, no, we care about the stories, and we'll add in different characters of different different backgrounds, so that we can bring in different people. And especially now that you could do a lot of the when you're playing those MMOs and you have a community that you are part of, like when you start with World of Warcraft and all of these things, like Nick Hotep was telling me that about, what was the name of the community?
Rough Trade Greek Gaming Community.
Okay, now tell me about this again, because I wasn't familiar with it, and then when I looked it up.
It's a very, very, it's actually, gosh, I want to say 10 to 15 years old.
Okay.
A group of people that game together, what's the word? Goes across.
Transcends.
Transcends. Thank you very much. You just redeemed yourself. It transcends multiple
Fickle.
games. So they're in World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2. They're in Rift, and so they are a community of people that game together, and they've been featured in a number of different. They've been on Ellen. They've been on Maury, and so they're a great group of people that game together. And we talk on. We talk online when we game. We do what are called raids together. You can take on high-end content.
Now, next time, anybody that follows us on social media and sees Nikahotep bitching because I don't have cable, now you see why he doesn't need cable.
Well, no,
he has
'cause
all
he just-
kinds. You have internet, and he's in all these guilds, and he plays games anyway. He doesn't need cable too. Cable is a dying breed, so you don't need cable. Stay in
has
your
cable
hordes.
still?
What would you
Exactly.
watch on cable anyway?
Because we need a faster connection.
Well, you didn't ask for a faster connection. You should have just said, "I
Because
want
she
a
has
faster
like
connection."
this. She has this dial-up modem.
I
That's
did
like.
not. That is a complete lie. There is no dial-up. He's fine. If you want more bandwidth, then I can do that. You're the one that's playing all these games. You didn't tell me that you were all slow in the horde. That's different.
How many guilds are you part of?
Just one.
Okay.
Rough trade.
Just a big one.
Well, but you see, within rough trade, there's actually sub guilds because you've got your raiding guilds, you've got your social guilds, you've got. I mean, so there's like different sections. Like there's your.
How many
hard-
sub guilds are you a part of?
I'm in the raiding guild.
Okay.
So I mean, there
Of course, he's in the raiding guild.
because that's the high end. That we go after high end content. That's the casual raiders, not the hardcore raiders. There's the hardcore raiders who are just they're badass.
What do they do different?
They it's a cult.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they're awesome people. I don't mean to offend anybody who might be listening that might be part of the hardcore raiders, but they are really, really hardcore.
Do the more casual gamers ever get together and say, these guys are a threat to all of us. We need to take them
No,
down.
we all work together. That's the thing. That's the thing that's kind of cool because there's like world content. Like there are creatures that the whole server has to work together to take out. That's like effectively like a god.
I want to see a mutiny, though. That would be fun.
And then there's world versus world too. So in Guild Wars 2, you actually have server versus server. So you try to kill the other server.
See, that's what you have, this giant battle. See, now you're shaking your head. You see why he's got a lot of spare time to go
Yeah,
be
you
in
don't
all
need
these
TV,
things. But Guild Wars 2 was one of the games that we brought up that had, and when you look into this, you could tell that still the prevalent society still in video games is like easing into these LGBT relationships because of course you could still tell that it's still pretty male out there because the first things that they did they were like, you know what, we're cool with lesbian relationships. You can find a lot of those.
Well, and Guild
that's
Wars
what made
2
people. Guild Wars 2 has one of the big ones out
They've
there.
actually had two.
Yes.
They've had Kate and her girlfriend who actually were plant people. And then they had Marjorie and Casimir.
Oh, and they have fantastic actresses on
and
that.
Casimir is...
They're fantastic.
Yeah, she's hot.
I have that one. And so we can bring that up because I was very impressed with both of the female voice actors on this one.
You did your bit, Cat. Go on back to Divinity's Reach, where it's safe.
You're sweet, but I couldn't leave you here alone.
I'll be fine, Cupcake. Go on now.
I don't think so. I would, but to be honest, I'm itching to see what's in that tower. I think I'll stay.
If you insist.
Marjorie,
Yes,
if we don't make it out,
we will. Promise.
I believe her. I believe they do. They will make it out.
Actually, and there's some bad stuff that happens to Marjorie's family that
know.
Casimir...
Gee.
yeah. It's sad. It's sad.
Do you know the name of the actresses?
I don't. We'll have to
Names,
look it up.
I should say.
Not their actual names.
Oh, so
I'm
it's-
always jealous of people that have good roles like that. I'm like, I want that voiceover opportunity. Yeah, because I do think that video games are cool now, and there's a lot more that you can do with them. It's not just making sound effects in the background.
Just
or
start
sounding
small.
like a Casio keyboard.
I was
like
just
you did
saying,
when we were
start
younger.
small. Start with like a game which is on a phone, like an app. So like Angry Birds. Start via.
I want to be. Callahan, you're making games. Do you have any voiceover work for me in one of the games that you're like programming?
No. I mean, well, my problem with games is anytime I start a new one, it's because I have this idea and I want to see if I can write the code to make
Okay.
it happen. I'm challenging myself. And then once I get the code down, I'm like, well, I don't need to finish this. I can find something else to do. So
You're
I've
like,
got
technically it works.
I've got like 24 half-finished games under my belt, but I've never finished a single one.
You know what? If you need some help, once you get most of them finished, let Nick Hope to do. He's not doing anything. He's just sitting around. what are you raiding hordes or
Yeah, you're not
planning
getting
to eat
TV.
hobbits.
Might as well just.
We'll just find more projects for you.
My God.
What now, Pat? Now you see why he's the social media demon. He's got nothing to do.
I
He's
got
all right.
lots to do.
Just put a gay person in one of his games.
I work so hard.
That's not believing you at all.
It's
Loved the way you said that.
my life is so difficult.
You know, and a lot of times in these games, what we notice first is that instead of making it like Marjorie and Casimir were a particular couple, but I think the other thing that happened is when you were watching or playing games like, for instance, Mass Effect 2, I believe is the one that I played, where the character was ambiguous in that either gender that you played was going to get approached. And so there's some characters that are just for real, like, no, this is a gay character. And then there's other ones that are, well, we could be gay, kind of thing. So there's like, and if you play...
Hi, Jaden.
Jaden's like, leave me alone.
I think Mass Effect 2, though, if you were a male character, you couldn't have any gay romance options. Then you could in 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right. I remember that. And you were
So I remember people were like, well, come on, we can be a lesbian. Why can't we be a gay dude?
Exactly. And then Dragon's Age, wasn't that similar like in Dragon's Age 2, and then they expanded that as well, and then you could do it.
Yeah.
So but it is frustrating that you had to, well, not frustrating, but I understand why you have to have that outcry, because it's like the first one they're like, oh yeah, you're so fine with these lesbian relationships because guys programmed it the first time, straight guys programmed it, and then they came back and went, oh yeah, okay, we'll write that in the next one.
And they're programming for what they think their core audience is.
Right.
And then they find out, oh no, our core audience is everyone who likes to play games.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Because for God forbid, as a woman, it's like, oh yeah, we're always cool with you being down with another girl, kind of thing. Like, thanks a lot.
I think every
That's like encouraging. Like, well, this is what we think that you'll do next time we see you at the convention.
Every game developer should have to read a critical analysis of why Torchwood was so popular with women.
Very much so.
Then they would, they wouldn't make that mistake.
And I think that it's also the mentality of women, like, when you're a guy, you're a lot more likely to go, how can I insinuate myself into the situation? If you find out that somebody is gay, then that changes the way that you feel about them from a fantasy point of view. And then as a woman, it doesn't. Like, I know that a lot of actors that I have little crushes on are gay, don't care, because it was a made-up thing in my head anyway. So they're already going to act the way I know is made up. That doesn't make him any less cute to me. So I talk about John Barrowman all the time. Totally know he's gay. Still think he's adorable. That's what Nicole Hilltop and I talk about when we're at home. We're like, we both sit there and go, we have some things in common. That's nice. It brings us together.
It truly does.
It does. It's a good friendship bond that he and I have over John Barrowman.
Are there any games right now that you're kind of excited about that
I'm excited about
upcoming?
I've been busy, so I haven't been paying
You're behind.
much attention to a lot of things.
Well, the new Mortal Kombat actually has a gay dude in it.
Is there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Jin, what's his name?
Is that one of his powers?
June's son,
No,
I
he's got
think
a bow and
so.
arrow. No, he's got a bow and arrow. He's really cool.
He's Cupid?
Oh.
No, he's not Cupid. He's lethal. He's lethal Cupid is what he is.
I'm going to challenge you to come over to Shannon's house, and we're going to play Mortal Kombat.
I'll do it.
Because he's got nothing to do.
I love Mortal Kombat.
I'll do it.
So is
I'm just
that-
going to mash buttons. I'm going to probably win. I did that. I went over to someone's house the other day, and they're like, want to play this game? Injustice? Never heard of it, never played it. Just
Justice again.
Injustice
just started
is awesome.
mashing buttons, and I was just destroying.
That's one of those ones that whoever has the faster thumbs wins that game.
No skill. No
Yeah,
skill at
it
all.
doesn't matter. But another one of your favorite games you said was Gone Home. And
Yes.
so tell us about Gone Home.
You play as this 21-year-old woman that spent a year in Europe for college or something, and then you come home to your parents and your sister's new house that they moved into while you were gone, and none of them are there.
Ooh,
And there's
mystery.
just a note on the door from your sister. It's like, don't try and figure out what happened. And you're like, nah, I'm gonna. And then you just rummage through things and slowly piece the story together, and it's pretty great.
Yes, and that was another one that had another one of those lesbian relationships. So it was Samantha and Lonnie that you lit to know more about in that one, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we have that one. So I was like, I felt like Pat could feel nostalgic over Gone Home.
Yeah.
Lonnie came over today. But everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and she wouldn't look at me. Finally, I asked her what was going on. She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must think But I said no. There was nothing wrong. I just wanted to say... But I couldn't find the words.
So
I
dramatic.
felt like I was gonna cry, but I
Well, they're in
wasn't
high
sad.
school. Come on.
She got up and sat next to me on the bed. I looked at her. Lonnie, do you think you could ever... And that's when she kissed me.
Oh.
The giggle is what brings it home, though. That's when you're like,
That's a
oh my
great
God,
VO.
that's the end of thing. Yeah, so
It
It's a
sounds
great
like she is
voiceover.
narrating the opening to a Penthouse letter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, basically, like while you're like you like are searching around, you eventually like find these like voiceovers, and then spoiler alert: at the end of the game, you just find her like journal, and that's just what you've been like reading, and that's what the voiceovers come from. Because originally I was kind of like, why is there just randomly voiceovers? And I was like, oh, you found.
No, it's not true. I was gonna be like, wouldn't it be fun if Shannon went to work one day?
So
and
wait, you don't find like the missing people, you just find the journal?
You find out what
happened?
happens. Like it's pretty intense. Just like there's a lot of side stories that are going on that I really like. Like you're in the game, your dad is like this frustrated writer, and like in his office, he just has like this whiteboard with like all these things crossed off, and then just like in giant letters it says "You can do better." And like later on in the game, when you're in the basement, like you find a bunch of like his first book that like got published and no one ever bought, and like a letter from his dad, your grandfather, who was like a literature professor, and he's just like, I read your book and you can do better. And you're like, oh, geez, this guy's got
Depressing.
some
Oh my
demons.
God.
like, thanks
my
a lot.
God.
No wonder he
No
disappeared.
Father's Day presents
Yeah.
for you. Jeez.
And like it's a lot of backstory like that. Lonnie woman is in ROTC and stuff, and is like gonna go away, and then like the last minute, it's like no.
That's a movie, man. It's not a game. This is a
Right,
movie.
and that's what happens now, and that's why you have a lot of different variety of characters.
I would
think,
program this movie at my festival.
now. See? And we'll find the trailer for you.
get
You'll
to
think
live
the
the
trailer's
movie.
great.
You can play the whole game in like 3 or 4 hours.
So get a couple of Papasons and some wireless controllers and have people play it at the festival as if it were a movie.
Imagine if we had the gaming competition on the big ass screen in the Icon Theater.
That would be so
oh my
fun.
god!
Yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, they do that on ESPN.
Yeah.
See, we're gonna have we're just building out your festival more now.
Do it.
You're like,
Keep
as if
going.
your festival wasn't busy enough.
Yeah.
Now we're like, here's some more stuff you should do,
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, we got more work for you.
I had other concepts in head too.
Well, yeah, Gone Home was made by like 4 people, so you could probably do it. They're they're in Portland or something. So.
Imagine that.
So we
Yeah.
invite
So
them
it's
out
a
as
storage.
filmmakers.
You get it.
What?
We get them out as filmmakers. We have a Q&A after.
Yeah, I'm
the
sure.
game.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure they'd be into it. They're all real cool. They work together on this downloadable content for BioShock 2 called Minerva's Den,
Okay.
which I thought was actually like better than all of BioShock 2 and a lot of the first one, honestly.
Oh, I believe you. The first one, I did play that. I did play BioShock, which is one of those games that I play those games. I want to be good at them. I am not good at those games.
And
So
I
I
want,
just put it on easy. And,
I play them and I want to because I want to know the story and get to know the characters. I just want to see what happens, and then I end up really bad at the game and I get upset and I make my little sister come over and play it for me. So that's what I do. Here, play this game so I can see what
I
happens.
have a question. I don't know I'm asking. Has there ever been a film made based on the adaptation of a game? Original, like, or it was a game
Yeah.
first, original game, and then
there's been a few. They've almost always been terrible.
Right, they haven't made that transition yet. Where you're like, oh, okay, I'm
Resident
glad that you did
Evil.
that because the Resident Evils
Yeah,
and the stuff
okay.
of the world where
The
you're
Resident
like,
Evils
okay,
are kind of fun.
Halo.
Halo is
coming
coming.
out.
So is World of
Okay.
Warcraft. That's coming out.
They're making
Actually-
a World of Warcraft movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks so good.
yeah. Again, why we don't have cable? So. But yeah, there are. You try, but
I think
like
that's
then
gonna
a lot
happen.
of
Dude,
them
that's
are.
a great, like, just to
But,
hear,
like-
hear you say. That's a great story.
But then
Yeah,
the Street
I-
Fighter movies are garbage. You
Yeah.
know, there's
What?
so many
I don't think
garbage.
Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
They're garbage. They're garbage.
Even for a person that sits there and goes, "I'm just so interested in this kind of stuff that I don't care if they're garbage. They're garbage."
They may be bad, but they're no Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's like you broke my heart a little there. I felt it.
I think
God, I forgot about that.
the,
And
the
now it's
heyday
like
of
earworms. Now you can't
the
get rid
heyday of video game adaptations was the 80s era Saturday morning cartoons where you had Pac-Man and you had Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
Lara Croft.
And wasn't there also a Q*bert cartoon at one point?
There was a
There may
Q*bert
have been.
cartoon. I forgot
There was,
about
what was
that
there?
one.
There was Captain N, which was
Yeah.
like all the video game characters. There was a Legend of Zelda cartoon that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, did you play the
And then
game?
there was Sonic later on, and
Yeah.
Sonic actually for a cartoon I didn't think was that bad. I kind
Mega
of
Man
enjoyed
got
that.
a cartoon too, didn't he?
Then there was what?
Didn't Mega Man get a
Yeah,
cartoon?
Mega Man had a cartoon.
I didn't watch that one, so I don't remember if that was any good. But Sonic, I was like,
There was
okay,
the
that's
Super
not bad.
Mario Brothers Super Show that had the
Yes.
worst intro song, or the best, depending on your point of view.
Tragically good? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Pat?
it had there's like live action mixed with cartoon. It was some wrestler who played Mario. I can't remember his name.
Is there
Was
a
that
channel
Lou
that
Albano
shows
that was
just
playing
those
Mario, I
cartoons?
thought?
Because I would love to have my kid watch these cartoons, as he grows up.
You can see some of the Super Mario Super Show on Netflix, which is fun because it's like really dated. So they'll sometimes have like guest stars, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's so and so," and you're like, "Who's this?" It's like someone from a TV show that never really had more than like 2 seasons.
They were
So
just
It's
trying
like
to do a
some D-list
crossover.
wrestler. The Iron Sheik is here.
yeah,
I pity the fool.
Well,
it'd be awesome if Mr. T showed up.
because he's the show saver. He could be on any
Mr.
of those
T's
back
just
then.
voicing Toad in one of the cartoons.
You know, and you know,
Pity
we,
the fool who thought our princess was in this cat.
you know, we talked about so many of these lesbian relationships that we saw in games first, and it took more time to find what we'll consider like a quality gay male character. And another
Yeah.
game that I know you did play The Last of Us. So a lot
Yeah.
of people played The Last of Us, and they did have one that I think this character kind of snuck up on people in it
Yeah.
where they didn't know it is. And so the character Bill that was in it. And so
Yeah.
why did you enjoy that game, Pat?
Well, besides like just the actual gameplay is fun, I did enjoy all of the story because you kind of play as like a guy that's like you're not really a good guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're
Yeah.
a guy that's had to make some tough choices because it's the apocalypse, and you're like, I've done some things,
I'm not proud of those things.
not proud of them, but like the character Bill,
and
he's like this kind of like crazy guy that's like lives in his own town by himself and like built a lot of traps and stuff, and he's like just like a huge jerk the whole time. Like your main character Joel, or you're with this little girl Ellie, and he's like, man, don't ever partner up in this world. It's terrible. And like eventually, while you're traveling around with him, like you've come across this guy that hung himself because he got bitten by these zombies, and it was his partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you think, that, so we have that. And I I did also think that was interesting because when I was looking online and looking up Bill, the bear community was actually like, of the gay community was actually like, yay for Bill, kind of thing. We totally claim him. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would see why you would claim him. So here's Bill.
Once upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about. A partner. Somebody I had to look after. And in this world, that's sort of good for one thing. Getting you killed. So you know what I did? I wisened the up. And I realized it's got to be just me.
Bill, it ain't like that. It's
Bullshit. It is just like that.
And then we find out about his partner.
Yeah, they had like a fight,
Yeah.
and like you find this note that he scrawled before he killed himself, being like,
Who
"Hey
the hell's
Bill, I
Frank?
hate you."
He was my partner. Once
He's
upon a
so
time,
sad, and it is kind of sad. And again, with really good voice actors in this game, and it was one of those when you said partner at first, you're thinking, oh, business partners.
Yeah, we're just like survival buddies.
Exactly.
or cop.
Yeah.
That's
cop.
not where my mind went. Now, I haven't seen the actual video, so I don't know what the character looks like. But from the voice acting I'm hearing, I'm picturing a large, bearded, flannel-wearing fellow.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
pretty
denim.
much.
There's some
Yeah.
denim.
Big
Yeah.
gay Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, and if I heard that guy talking about his partner or his ex-partner, the first thing I would think of was his love partner.
Which is good because a lot
It's
of people
possible.
didn't catch that until you got there
I didn't.
later.
I didn't catch. Like, I'm not. Until honestly, the past couple of years, there haven't really been any prominent LGBTQ characters. So when he says like partner, I'm like, well, obviously he's not gay because it's a video game.
Right. That's good.
And then it
know.
happens,
I
and you're
wonder,
like, oh,
yeah, maybe because I'm a writer, I'm always looking for the archetype in every character as soon as they're introduced. Maybe that's why
Trying
I
to
go
figure out a
there
reason
and-
why they're interesting, kind of thing, why they're different or why they stand out. But
what the big reveal is going to be in the next chapter.
and I think that what Pat, the what you just said actually makes a lot of sense because you don't go to that. So that's why Bill was kind of a big deal because the way that they developed his character and the way that they built it, because they did just say partner, and there's no reason necessarily as you play through the game to automatically think that that's what these two other characters have come across, because he doesn't do that or do what other video games have done before when they did have a male gay character, which was make them overly effeminate or dressed in a weird thing. Yeah, exactly. He's this dude trying to get through this apocalypse like anybody else and talking about how there was somebody that was important to him that's now gone. Mm-hmm. And then when you come across this person that's now gone, because as Pat said, he did hang himself, and you see him walk up on him, you know, you get to see this character kind of go, yeah, nobody would wear a shirt like he did, and talk about the way that they would about being in a relationship. And
because he'd been there for a while, so he kind of decomposed. He's like, yeah, I know that's him. No one else would wear that stupid shirt.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
You know, and then you see why he probably committed suicide, because he knows that he's been bitten, and he's, you know, and he doesn't want to turn, so he decides to kill himself, and how this guy deals with it, and it kind of hardened himself during this relationship or post this relationship just to kind of get by. So to see that kind of relationship in a male relationship was very notable, because you don't see that. What you'll see now is you'll see some character that goes, oh yeah, we're allowed to be either way. Like I play Fable, and in Fable now you can it's more of, you can decide if you're a male or a female in Fable. And then if you decide that you're going to have a wife or a husband, you can go ahead and get married, and then the non-playable characters will just do whatever they would normally do and kind of just act appropriately based upon whether you're a male or a female, but it doesn't necessarily matter. But this one having a relationship that was completely and solely based upon the fact that it was two guys.
When did this game
come out?
out?
That often.
2013.
Okay.
So it's not like Mass Effect where you can bang anyone as long as you impress them enough.
Correct. Yeah, you're just earning their press, earning the points. Yeah. Okay.
AKA Bar Louie.
Where is this place?
Well played, Nick Hotep. So, but I think that this is kind of the direction that things are going now, is that there are more video game writers that are looking for this because they understand that there is a market for it, and then there's also more players that are going, yeah, I'm totally fine with this, so you don't have that heterosensitivity automatically in these games when you're writing them.
I mean, there has been, if you read like any review of Gone Home or something, people, like, there are still like a small section of like super homophobic gamers. They're like, this is dumb. Like, Gone Home got like so many accolades, and like, this is dumb. All it is because your sister's a lesbian. Like, that's all they care about. Like, well, it's also interesting.
But
it's also well made.
But then they're the ones at the airport tapping their feet.
Yeah.
So what do you think, going forward, Pat and Nick Hotep, what do you think the next thing on the horizon is when we're playing these RPGs and these MMOs and things? What are you waiting for? Yeah, what are you waiting for?
I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just starting to get flat.
3D. Virtual reality.
Well, I've been trying to do virtual reality for a while now.
Yeah.
Some of it's cool. A friend of mine had one of those, what are they called? The Oculus Rift. And all it does is just like it's like a passport to nausea. That's how I would describe it.
I don't know.
What game did you play it?
They didn't have any like specific games. There's just a lot of like testing. Like, here's like it's like, you're just like, oh, it's 3D. It's like not any games. You just like put it on. You're like, wow, look at this Tuscan villa that you can walk around. Like, that's literally one of them. It's like a Tuscan villa.
I might have to go shopping and see what you can buy me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't think that an Oculus Rift will fit in your box when we're at home. So that's all right. We can wait on that.
You can shrink anything down with magic.
I could. I'm not going to. I totally could.
You know what? You can go out there and get the Google Cardboard. How's that?
Google Cardboard?
just go get that.
Is this a real thing?
Yeah.
What is
it?
So
Google came out with this. Literally, it's a piece of cardboard with instructions on how to put it together, and it fits over your eyes, and it's 3D.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 3D as in it's a
as in life
real
as in
piece of cardboard in the real
you
world.
You put your phone in the cardboard itself, and the way you maneuver the cardboard around it kind of comes off as a 3D.
It feels like
literally
it feels like you're
Google
making fun of
Cardboard.
me.
It's a thing.
Well, look at that.
It's like $10, but it's a piece of cardboard, but with instructions on how to put
give me
it together.
$10.
And Jayden, that makes an excellent time for me to transition to one of our partners right now. So Digital Dud T-shirts has a very similar thing where what you can do is you can take your phone and look at different options, and you can plug it into the shirt and then have the different videos show up on your
I can
shirt.
plug
Digital
something
Dud.
into my shirt.
Yes. And so we have these shirts. Yes, those Digital Dud shirts. I did bring those in earlier today, and so you can check those out. Right now, they are super focused on Terminator Genesis, which we know comes out on July 1st. And a bunch of us are going to go see that, and so you can go ahead and
some of us are introing it, aren't we?
Yes, some of us are interested. So we are
and giving away free hugs.
Yeah. Yes. Are you guys on
Free
board?
hugs.
See, I volunteered free hugs, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. I shouldn't speak for the entire show. I don't know if
Should we just all stand there and then see competition of who gets the most free hugs?
Yes, we should, because
lose.
I'm very competitive. Why do you lose?
It's gonna be
I'm going to get 0 hugs. I'll
Okay.
get negative hugs if possible.
So, Pat,
just arms crossed, just standing further away than everyone else.
I'm hugging myself, thank you.
So, Pat, here's what it is, that they are doing a screening of Terminator Genesis on Monday the 29th at the Great Clips IMAX Theater at the Minnesota Zoo, and they have invited all of the cast of Your Geek Show to come out and introduce the movie. So we're going to introduce the movie and then hang out and then also give out some Digital Duds T-shirts to our fans. So anybody that hears us on this show or follows us on our Facebook page, Your Geek Show MN, or goes to our website, yourgeekshow.com, just let us know that you got the passes through us, and we will be giving away 5 of those shirts, and we get to introduce the movie. And then I on our Facebook page said we will also be giving out free hugs, and then thought better about it and decided that I had not talked to the fellas, and Nika Hotep and Jayden and Rob had not volunteered for that.
If you need a hug ringer, throw me in there.
Yes, you can come with us as well, and we'll just all line up and see what
Can
we
I
do.
intro it? I'm not part of the show, but hey guys.
Well,
What's
you're
up?
For
everyone is
tonight's
part
show,
of the show.
the role of Rob Callahan will be played by...
Patrick Sussman. Hello, I'm Rob.
Do we have tickets to
Callahan.
give away too or no?
We
a
do. You
stunt
can go to our
double?
Facebook page. You can download the passes while they're available, so you can go to there and find them out. And so, I'll be honest with you. Once I started saying, yeah, we'll give out free hugs, and then the whole reason that I did take it back is because I decided that Rob, if anybody was gonna get mad at me over volunteering free hugs, it was gonna be Rob. So I was like,
Well, they're
never
not
mind.
mandatory free hugs.
No,
I love to hug.
But if anybody's gonna be like, don't tell strangers to touch me, it's gonna be Callahan. You got a thing. I'm all like, whatever, strangers. That's okay.
You can always just show up and only
And the
hug each
stranger
other.
that's going to be saying "hug me" is the sitting right
Right.
there.
I love strangers that hug me.
We have a very cuddly social media demon.
No,
so.
it's like I bring balance to the force.
That is true. You call it balance. I call it mischief. But that's all fine, to each their own, tomato. So
Well, that's
come-
amazing. That thanks
Yeah.
to
Thanks to the folks over at
opportunities,
so Terminator Genesis. Again, comes out on July 1st, and it'll give us something to talk about, and that'll be fantastic. So thanks to them. Also thanks to our other partners, the Twin Cities Film Fest, Custom T-Shirt Central, Chris McDuffie Photography. They're always a big help. And Pat, just next week we are going to, I know it is July 4th weekend, but we are going to prove that not all things British suck. So we are going to talk to you about a thing.
Who says all things
Some
British
people,
suck?
some people.
Dentists.
I'm just kind of like,
Oh snap!
Oh, yeah.
I like what you did there.
Which would have been
Callahan.
hilarious in the 80s, but I'm pretty sure their dentistry is on par
Now
with ours
everybody
now.
has good
Yeah.
dentists.
I think they just don't care as much. Like here, we're all very.
They
like,
brush with sugar.
I mean, here, like we were like throwing braces onto children because like your teeth are jacked up, kid. You got to fix that. There, they're like, teeth are teeth, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
They have maybe like more self-esteem than us. I don't know.
They're like,
come
just
out-
be you.
they'll
We
come
have
out
posh accents.
There's
So-
somebody in the world with more self-esteem than Americans. We need to go to war.
So to help us next week, we have our friend Hal from TwinCitiesGeek.com. She's going to come in and talk to us about Comic-Con culture and also some of her favorite British TV comedies, including Red Dwarf is what we're going to
Ooh,
talk
I
about.
love
next
Red
week.
Dwarf.
Yeah. So, Pat, where's the easiest way for people to find you online?
My website, patsusmilch.com, PATSUSMILCH.
And everybody, go follow him on Twitter. He is fantastic on Twitter. I will make sure that we tweet it out as well. And on Twitter, you are at
PSUSMILCH.
Yeah, so we will make sure.
Sussmilch was already taken. Same with the website. It's my brother. He's like cyber squatting on sussmilch.com. He's like, man, if you want to give me some money, you can have sussmilch.com. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, come to my website, patsusmilch.com.
Your
He's
own,
like,
your
damn.
own brother is.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So also, I mean, if you're in the Twin Cities area, I can also vouch for you doing a very great stand-up show.
Oh,
So
thank you.
go out and see him
Yeah.
doing stand-up. Shannon,
And you'll hear the catch
who is
up, right?
also
You will
very
hear the
well
catch
acquainted
up.
with good stand-up.
Yes.
You can vouch for him too, right?
Pat
He
is one
does
of
good
my
work.
favorite stand-up comedians, so you guys will have a great time at his show.
I'll be at Acme June 30th recording that taping.
Oh,
Are you doing
yes.
one of those?
Yes. Are we on the same date? I don't know. We'll
don't
we'll
know.
put it all on our
Okay.
Facebook fan page. because I haven't thought that far in advance.
You mean I'll put it on the Facebook
So
fan page.
that is
Social
true.
media demon
Nick
reporting.
Hotep will put all of the stuff
Yeah.
on the Facebook page. So
See, I work very hard.
yeah, you do. Okay. Do you feel better if I validate you now?
Thank you.
Do you want me to pet your head as well?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, yes, I'll do that. Here, do you purr? Okay, there we go.
Is that the sound demons make?
Yeah, ours. That's the
Huh.
sound our demon makes. I don't know about the rest of them. I only got one. So we'll put all that on our Facebook fan page and on our website. So Pat's going to be at Acme, as will I, and we will all see you next week. Thank you very much for listening to Your Geek Show.